Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day today. This is the 2023 Honda Pilot. This is the LX, so this is the base trim level and about as base as you can get. It's front wheel drive, really no major additions. The base price on these models is $37,090. The sticker price on this particular model is $37,675. So we are going to try to answer the question in today's video, is this the most reasonably priced mid-size three-row SUV? It definitely has a lot of features for the money. And while I realize that $37,695 is not exactly pocket change, well, I guess it depends on who you are. But for most of us, it's not. But we're going to take a look at what we have here today. In this market, it's definitely not a bad deal. Let's dig in a little bit deeper. Check out the link down in the description of the video if you're interested in buying this model. It's available here at Holmes Honda in Shreveport, Louisiana. The exterior color on this model is crystal black. It has a gray interior. So for those who don't like the black interiors, well, there is another option for you where that is concerned. LED daytime running lights. You'll see the changes to the headlight housing. All of that is new, a wider grille, really a wider looking stance overall. You do have the active air curtains. All of those features are going to come standard on all trim levels. Obviously, some will step up. You'll have the fog lights that you don't have here. But for that sticker price on this particular model, you will have Honda Sensing. That's going to be road departure mitigation braking, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, traffic jam assist. It's all there. Here's your remote. Now, the one thing you will notice that you don't have here, remote start. I don't know that that's that big of a deal for the average person. A lot of people, we're used to living without it. Some of us have, some of us haven't. Just one of those things. But again, think price point here. Here are your power adjustable but manually folding side view mirrors. You won't find turn signal indicators built in here. You also will not find blind spot monitoring. By the way, you do have the proximity key with that remote, with the walk away feature. All of that is here. The rear roof spoiler, the shark fin antenna, and the wiper on the rear window here. You do have a dampened tailgate. It's not a power tailgate, but it is dampened, so you just open it just a little bit there and it takes over pretty much, opens itself with the struts right there. Makes it very easy. And you can tow 3,500 pounds, up to 3,500 pounds with front wheel drive. Now, here's the thing. On all trim levels, you can have front wheel drive, which is going to be standard on most trim levels, or all wheel drive is optional. So depending on what you want, well, you can even have all-wheel drive for this particular trim level, the base trim level of LX. So, well, you have a lot of options there. Yes, the price would go up a little bit, but still a very reasonably priced model. Now let's talk about the change that's under the hood. Gone is the 3.5-liter Honda VTEC V6. Now this is still a Honda V6, but it's a dual overhead cam version. So more efficient, more responsive than the VTEC, at least based on my experience. Now, you only have an addition of 5 horsepower, up from 280 to 285, still 262 on the torque. No longer mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, now mated to a specifically tuned for the Pilot 10-speed automatic transmission. And let's talk a little bit about MPGs. Probably gonna be kind of hard to see with this bright sun shining here. We'll try and give you the best view possible. 19 city, 27 highway, 22 combined. And Honda says you should use 4.5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. By the way, if you're looking for standard all-wheel drive, the Trail Sport and Elite trim levels will offer all-wheel drive as a standard feature. Let's talk about tire and wheel size on this front-wheel drive version of the Pilot LX. 255 on the width, a 60 series sidewall, and all of that wrapped around 18-inch wheels. And moving on to the cargo area, 18.6 cubic feet, up to 86.5, up to 87 cubic feet. Obviously, you have the third row here, and a little trick that I want to show you. If you ever buy one of these or plan on it, or maybe you already have one and you may have already discovered this little trick here. When you lower the seats, don't make the mistake that I made right here of allowing this strap right here, or this release, to actually go up further. A lot of the time it'll lap over the front of the seat when it's folded down. You actually have a Velcro piece right here, and then you can attach the strap right there just like that. That makes it a lot easier to reach in and pull that back up and get the seats back in place when it's time to do so. Now you do have the added advantage here, if I can get this cargo mat out of the way, it's a little hard to do that, of the dual-sided floor. Let's see how talented I am. Can I do this one-handed? Well, we're about to find out. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So, looks like this time I think it worked. So you have the dual-sided floor. There's advantages to that. You have the carpeted side, but if you have something you need to haul back here behind the third row of seats that you don't want getting dirt or sand or even mud on the floor and dirtying the carpet, staining the carpet, whatever, well, that's why you have this plastic side. You can flip it over as easily as you saw. You can even do it one-handed if you want to. You do have storage space underneath, and underneath the vehicle is something very important, a spare tire. No tire repair kit here with the Pilot. Moving into the interior, you'll notice that we do have, as I mentioned earlier, the gray interior. So like I said, for those of you who don't like the black interiors, well, you have a good option right here. Gonna have some gloss black trim, a nice comfortable armrest right here, and the upper and lower door bins. And because of a question that somebody asked a while back, I think it's just because most people, for whatever reason, go to the driver's side here to show how to gain access to the rear seating area. They asked if you could do the same thing from the passenger side, which obviously is true. It wouldn't make any sense to only be able to gain access to and from the third row from the driver's side. So let me show you that yes, you do have the ability to do the same thing over here. And one other thing that is helpful to know about this area of the vehicle is the fact that you can bring these seats back and forth. They do slide back and forth. That makes it easy to increase leg space for third row passengers. And here in the third row, well, believe it or not, leg space isn't terrible. You might not be able to stretch out as much as you want to, at least with the seats all the way back, but we'll move over here to the passenger side. And while, yeah, this is likely to be an unlikely scenario where the seat is this far forward, at least it gives you an idea of what you can do. And on higher trim levels, such as Elite, Trail Sport, and Touring, you can remove the middle seat right here. This isn't going to happen on the LX trim level, but this is removable, and that would actually make it easier to kind of stretch out a little bit for rear seat passengers, just a little bit of additional leg room. And when it comes to getting back out, you don't have to wait for somebody to do it for you. You can push that button yourself, get the seat out of the way, and hop on out. And by the way, everybody does have their own air conditioning vents back here in the rear. Well, there's at least one on each side, but that will take care of everything because you do have seating for 3 people. You can see that by the fact that we have 3 seat belts back here. So there is room for 3 back here. Might be a little tight, but it is back here. And you also have a couple of cup holders. Here on the LX trim level, rear seat passengers will not find any USB connectivity. And while the third row doesn't offer USB connectivity on this particular trim level, at least, you will find that on higher trim levels. The middle row does offer a couple of options there, 2 USB connectivity options, as well as air conditioning vents on the rear of the center console. On the LX trim level, no sunroof. I know for me that's no big deal. I don't really like a sunroof because after you open them a few times, they do tend to leak, so you don't have to worry about that in this particular case. And as you might expect, for the most part, everything is going to be the same on the front doors as it is on the rear. Both doors pretty much the same size on this particular vehicle, so we'll have the same size armrest, upper and lower door bins, a couple of cup holders right here. Now, one thing you will find missing on this trim level. Again, I don't know that's that big of a deal for most people, especially for those who are saying, you know, I don't want to spend as much money, I want to save a little money every month. You don't have power seats for the passenger or the driver, but still comfortable seating, quite a bit of storage here, even within this area above where the glove box is located. Cell phones can go up there, whatever the case is. Plenty of space within the glove box and more connectivity with a couple of USB and a 12-volt power outlet. No wireless charging. Shouldn't really be a surprise on this particular trim level at this particular price point, but in case you were wondering, that's the situation. And we do have the push button shifter, the cup holders, and controls for driving mode or driving modes, because there are multiple. I'll show you what those are shortly, and then everything else you would expect to see there. I probably don't need to tell you too much about what is there. And a nice large center console. Space here to use the lid as an armrest, kind of a multitasker of sorts, and a lot of space within. That's always a good thing. If you're looking for the sunglass holder, yep, that is here. No conversation mirror, so you can't give the kids the angry eyes in the back seat when they're being unruly, or even the adults that you might be carting around. And obviously, you'll find a little bit more in the way of functionality here on the driver's side door. Nothing unexpected here. And then, if you wanted to attempt a front-wheel drive burnout, well, you can turn traction control off right there and then turn it back on after you try and do a burnout, if you could. You do have a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. Drop the lever right there, and you can make adjustments accordingly. We'll reach over here and hit our push button start after you hear the music that greets you when you get into the interior of your Pilot. A nice digital dashboard. Very modern looking, offers a lot of information. You can hit the home button right here a couple of times and then get to the information screen right here and use the scroll wheel, as you can see me doing right here, to get through a lot of different information about the vehicle, different settings, all that good stuff is here. And good news, here even on the LX trim level, guess what? You have this lever right here that not only controls the headlights and the taillights, but it also controls the blinkers. Do you know what blinkers are? Okay, I know a few of you said, what? What are blinkers? Or turn signals. That still doesn't do it for you, does it? You're still curious. I can still see you tilting your head like a dog hearing a new sound. When you push it into the up position, it lets people know what your intentions are as far as turning to the right, changing lanes to the right, all that kind of stuff. Into the down position, the same thing applies to the left. I know a lot of you don't know about that. Now you do. You've been informed. I can't really say anything funny or laugh or joke about this particular lever. It controls the front and rear window wipers. People tend to use their front and rear window wipers more than they use their blinkers. Push button start, you saw that earlier because I pushed it to start the engine, so you know that's here. And this is the 7-inch touchscreen. Very simplistic, but still very effective. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility here. And obviously you can pair your smartphone. You'll have to have a USB cable to do that in this particular case. A very simple system to use, that's for sure. You can go into all of your different settings here, and you can go into reverse and you'll see the multi-view rear view camera. 3 different views depending on what you need to see, and with the sun shining right towards it, it really makes it look like it doesn't work as well as it really does, or have as clear of a picture as it really does. Now you will notice that flickering effect. That has to do with the shutter speed of my GoPro. It is not a problem with the screen at all, just the GoPro makes it look that way. And we will find dual zone climate control here. You can sync those two together if you so desire to. You won't find heated or ventilated seats on this particular trim level. And to control the rear air conditioning area back there, or air conditioning for the rear seating area, just push the button right here. You'll see the changes take place right there, and then you can go back, do whatever you need to do. And obviously I promised I would show you the driving modes, so let's go through that. So we're going to start with normal, and you're going to have the graphic that goes with it there on the left hand side of the dash or the instrument cluster. We'll go to Econ, and then we'll have snow mode. We'll also have tow mode. No intentions of that rhyming, it's just the way Honda set it up. And then we go all the way up and you'll notice, wait a minute, there's no sport mode. Well, actually there is. You just don't use the drive mode selector to go into sport mode. So you have the Push button shifter right here. We're in drive right now. You can see the D right down here. And if I push that button one more time, you'll see the S. That means you're in sport mode. Okay, we really hit the highlights here. There's actually quite a bit more to this Honda Pilot LX than what we've talked about today. But based on what I've shown you, which are really the major points, is this the most reasonably priced mid-size 3-row SUV based on what you get on this particular trim level? Quite a bit here, and you don't necessarily have to break the bank to step up in trim level, say to EXL, and obviously you can go a lot higher than that and spend a good bit more money. Just depends on your situation or what you desire to do. So tell me what you think. I have to say a special thanks to Holmes Honda here in Shreveport, Louisiana for loaning me this 23 front-wheel drive Pilot LX for the day. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. And if you would like to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.